Well, Coach, Western Michigan coming off an unfortunate sweep at North Dakota over the weekend, and then Miami comes to town for the final home games until the middle of January.
Right. Well, you talk about an unfortunate sweep at North Dakota. We were on the losing side of that, and we did not play well enough to win those hockey games. North Dakota was more determined. They won a number of the battles that resulted in game-deciding situations that we weren't accountable on, and we have to be better than that. We had phases in both games where we did some really good things, but when you're playing teams in our league in the NCHC, you got to be on top of every single shift. So we're disappointed, but also energized to have a real determined week of practice, knowing that we've got a real good Miami team coming in. Miami was a really young team last year. They're still young, but their players have developed. They've continued to get better. They always play well against us. The games always have a special edge to them, and they're going to be well prepared, and we need to make sure that we put our best foot forward this weekend, but we plan to do that.
You want to win every game. Is there something that you can take away from your team getting swept where you say, this is a nice wake-up call for us as we start to really get into the thick of conference play?
Well, I heard Coach Hawkins say after our basketball team's game against Oakland on Saturday that a loss is only a loss when you don't learn from it. And we need to learn from what's gone on in the last 3 games. We've had the game against Colgate and the 2 against North Dakota. And certainly, we talk about our individual compete level. We had a number of players that played below their standard. And what's important for us is those players recognize that, which they do. There isn't a player in our team that did not get the job done that feels that they did. And we're an honest group. We need to work on a number of things this week. We need guys to raise their individual play, and when we do that, we can find a way to get the results we need.
You touched on Miami's youth last year. Success against them, though, 3 wins in 4 tries. How do you replicate that?
Well, I mean, every game against Miami, no matter whether we're a young team they are, is a special game. I mean, they're a team that came over with us from the CCHA into the NCHC. We've got a great relationship with their coaching staff, and the games have a lot of emotion involved because they've been coming to Lawson for a lot of years, and we've been going to their arena for a lot of years as well. It's a long-time rival.
Miami, a little different from the past. They've always had good defensemen, but I don't know if we've ever seen kind of the goal-scoring ability that they have in Hutton and Belpedio this year.
Well, Hutton and Belpedio are 2 of the leading point guys for defensemen in college hockey. They both shoot the puck very well. That's why their power play can be as effective as it is. And there's certainly 2 guys in the blue line that we're going to have to take into account and make sure that we're getting bodies in front of them and guys are prepared to block shots. They've also got some really good skilled forwards. They've got some guys with great quickness. They're a team that hounds the puck and competes. So we know what we face.
Coach, you play at home 2 games this weekend. It'll be the last couple opportunities for a while for fans to come out and see the Broncos play.
Yeah, we're excited to be back at Lawson this weekend. I mean, going to North Dakota, that's certainly a long trip. I thought our administration, Lynn Ross, and our office did a great job in getting everything in order for our travel out there. But, we're excited to come back home. It is our final 2 games before the Christmas break, and then we play 3 games after Christmas on the road right out of the chute there. So very important for us, we recognize, to come back and be ready to go on Friday night. But it doesn't matter what building you play in, when you play it. They tell you you're playing at 7:07 on Friday night here at Lawson. You need to be ready, and we expect to be. And we're expecting another big crowd, an enthusiastic crowd, have all the lunatics out right before exams. They got to be excited to have their last chance to celebrate for a few days before they get into their exam schedule. So we need to give them a reason to get excited.
Everybody has their own style and the way they like to play. How would you characterize Miami's style of play?
Well, I think Miami has great neutral zone structure. They've always been a team that's been really good in the neutral zone, and they've got great transition pace to their game. That's always been something they've been very good at. And, we talk about their 2 defensemen right now and how good they are offensively. They've got a team that gets up and down the ice with a lot of pace, and we like to play the same way, so it makes for an interesting battle.
We got Austin Rushoff coming up here in a couple minutes, and he's a pretty unique player in terms of size and skill that we've seen at Western Michigan.
Austin is 6'7". He's got some great hands. His skating is underrated. I believe he's got an opportunity to be a pro player at the end of his college career. What Austin's striving for right now, as all freshmen do, is that dependability on an every shift, every night basis. And in fact, we have a tag name for every one of our players, and the tag name we're giving Roosh is dependable. We need him to be dependable every night. He was as good as any player we had this weekend up at North Dakota, and that's great to see for a young freshman. I believe he's got 7 points already on the year, and to generate offense as a freshman is difficult in college hockey. But we've got high hopes for him. He's a quality young guy that's really adapted to the college game and the college life very well, and it's great that he's being recognized today.
And he was a little bit of a late bloomer and a good catch for you guys last year.
Well, he's a late bloomer in a lot of areas. I mean, he's still growing into that body. I mean, my goodness, 6'7", and the shot and the ability level he's got. And he's a guy that went through the North American League and with a couple of different teams, different midget teams, and then went and played a year in Dubuque. And the first half of the year was getting used to playing at that level. And then the second half of the year, when we really started to follow him really, really close, he was a guy that was really stepping up, and I thought was as good as any player that Dubuque had in the second half of the year. And we were really excited that he decided and wanted to be a Bronco.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Well, Austin, the Broncos are coming off a sweep on the losing side at North Dakota. What did you see out of the team, and what would you like to see more of this weekend?
I think we just got to get a better start. And not in just the first period, but the second period, in third period, we let up a quick goal in the third, and I think that depleted our team.
You got Miami coming in this weekend. Have the guys in the team or the coaching staff kind of filled you in on the rivalry with Miami?
Yeah, when we got back from the trip, he said it was a big rivalry. I'm excited for it. I know all the other guys are.
You kind of came on strong last year in the USHL, which led to a lot of attention, and then obviously the offer from Western Michigan. Was that just a thing for a player of your size and your skill, just kind of having it click finally? And then how have you felt in your adjustment from juniors to college?
Yeah, I think I had a really good second half of the year. I know that coaching staff in Dubuque was really helpful in helping me adjust from the NA to the USHL was big, and I think the jump from USHL to college level is pretty big. Just the speed of it is just the biggest difference I have.
Austin, you think about what the series was this past weekend. It was a top 10 showdown. It didn't go how you wanted. Can you guys use that as kind of for lack of a better expression, a wake-up call and say, this is where we need to go?
Yeah, for sure. We're going to have to beat those teams later on in the year if we want to go all the way. And, we just need to consistently play all three periods.
This is your first experience with this week. I guess it's kind of just an awkward week because, you play and then there's a break coming. How do you stay focused when you have that?
You just got to put it in the back of your mind. You don't really want to think about, I'm excited to go home. It's coming, but we want to get the 2 wins.
Just to add on to that, how excited are you for finals next week?
I'm not excited for it. It's going to be a big week here for studying and getting the criteria all for class, but it's part of college, and I'm embracing it.
You get to play at home and then a long break, and the Broncos don't come back to Lawson until January 19th. How special has it been to play at home on all these games to start the season?
It's been unbelievable. I never got the opportunity to watch a game in the stands, but just being a player on the bench, you hear the lunatics, regardless if you're on the ice or on the bench, and they're unbelievable to play in front of.
Thank you, Austin.
Thank you.